QB1 Kyle McCord feels he is making progress every game, feeling more comfortable leading the charge with every snap. One area he looks to improve is in the red zone. Ohio State is 9 of 17, nearly 53% when it comes to scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That ranks 105th nationally. Not great, but McCord showed progress, hitting Marvin Harrison Jr. twice in the red zone in the fourth quarter against Maryland. The first called back from an illegal motion penalty, but the second time a 17-yarder for the score. Ryan Day says it's the most confident he's seen McCord in the pocket, and it helps having playmakers like Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw to.
In the red zone, I think, nothing's really open. You just have to trust that your guy's going to make a contested catch, and then that's exactly what he did. So I think that was good to kind of see, myself and the whole offense kind of take a step in the right direction in that area, because obviously early on that was one of the areas we struggled in. So to take a step in the right direction and continue to grow upon that is, I think, the goal now.
McCord says another area the offense is looking to grow in is getting into a rhythm early. That starts with making completions and execution. McCord says when they get things rolling early, putting points on the board, they'll be tough to compete with. Ben?
It's full of stars, but today we're taking a look at who makes the cut. Who's the best of the best, right? The biggest and the brightest stars here at Ohio State. So here we go with a fun little exercise this morning. Our team's going to rank order their Buckeye stars from 1 to 5. And while there may not be a big surprise at that number 1 position, certainly many different ways we can go after that team. Justin, let's start with you. Who made the cut 1 to 5 best Buckeyes?
1 to 5, starting with 1?
1, yep.
Okay, we are starting with 1. We are going Marv.
Okay.
Yeah, get used to that.
Surprise.
Out there, yeah, surprise. Best player on the team, going to be a very high draft pick. Once he declares. I'm going 2, Emeka. We talked about it earlier. Those two guys have about 50% of Kyle's completions on the year. They are security blankets. They help him relax when he's in that pocket. He knows that they're going to go make plays for him. 3, I'm going defense. Tommy, quarterback of the defense. Amazing year last year. He's off to a good start again this year. 38 total tackles, 26 solos, 1 sack. So, boom. He's in that middle. He's running the defense. He's got that down. Lathan Ransom coming in at 4. I think the secondary, we all know, is a big part of this defense. It's the second year of Jim Knowles' defense, and I think these safeties have really taken over, and Lathan's played very well. Won, Big Ten Player of the Year after the Notre Dame game, stepping up in big games. And then at 5, I had to throw in my guy, Kyle McCord. Maybe, not looks the best, but the kid's playing well. He has no run game to go with. He's a first-year starter. The guy is making big plays in the Notre Dame game, 3rd and 19. I'll never forget that play. So he's played well. He's got, 1,400 yards, 65% completions, 1 interception. That's a good start to the year for a young quarterback.
That's a good start to the year.
And
you might be a little bit of a prisoner of that Notre Dame moment, but
that's fine.
I'm good with it.
I figured you'd go with the quarterback.
If you look at his numbers after last week, he was 1 of 6 to start the game, 19 of 29, 320 yards. You're going to say, if you don't watch the game, you're going to say, hey, he had a good day.
Justin, I'm not arguing with you, bro. I'm not arguing with you, bro.
It's all good.
Clutch is clutch, as they say.
Exactly.
Jay, lots of possibilities here. What's your list look like?
Let me explain to you my list. It's pretty simple. The top 2 are going to make a lot of sense, look a lot like Justin's. Obviously, Marv, because between him and Caleb Williams, those are the 2 most talented players in the country. The draft will reflect that. They will go 1 and 2, barring injury. After that, Mecca is any other team's number 1 wide receiver. He's that talented. He's useful in special teams. He does it all. He's like the bike on the chain or the wheel on the bike or whatever I'm trying to say. Now, Denzel Burke is important to me because he is a lockdown cornerback. He is somebody that deters QBs from going to his side. Yes, he's got 6 PBUs, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. He's a ball hawk, and he knows how to get it done. Proctor, I love what I'm seeing out of Josh Proctor this year. I love, obviously, the pick 6 last week, but he's also got a lot of tackles, 23, which I think is 2nd on the team, and he's an aggressive style defensive back. We need that. And then the number 5 guy, to me, is still the most underrated player on this defense, Tyleik Williams. If you hear his teammates talk about him, they rave about his athletic ability to be so big. They talk about how vicious he is, how amazing his pass rush is. The kid's 24 tackles on the season. That's in the top 3 on the entire team for a defensive tackle. People don't talk about that enough. He's got a sack. He's got 2 PBUs. That's what DBs do. And he also has critical moment plays that we've needed. He will be a top draft pick one day as well. Just wait for it.
Tyleik, if you need an agent,
right here.
That's your man. He sells you pretty well, man. I gotta say.
I'm trying to get myself one.
Give credit where credit's due, though.
Figured out, Tyleik.
Dang, pretty impressive. All right, Kellyanne, I know you put a lot of thought into your list. What does 1 through 5 look like for you?
Hey, this was difficult, but shocker. Here we go. Marvin Harrison Jr., Mecca Booga, shocker. And then Denzel Burke, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. 8 forced incompletions, most among Power 5 corners. He's all over the place, a lockdown corner. JT Tuimoloau. I know he finally got his first sack against Maryland. I know everybody's waiting to see that Penn State JT, but he's still getting pressure. He's still doing a job. He's still an aggressor. And then Cade Stover. I'm high on Cade Stover. Farmer Gronk, if you need to move the chains, you get it, right? You get it to Cade Stover. He is physical. He is tough. He is great at blocking, but he's also worked on his route running. He finally found the end zone. I'm big on the tight end, Cade Stover.
That's a good
Good one. That's
a solid list. All right, bear with me. Here we go. I'm going to break it
Is
down.
there
All right,
gonna be
let's
a
go,
kicker
Ben.
or a
I'm
punter?
going, well, wait till the
Better
end,
not
Jay.
be.
But I have some patience here, man. I'm going big surprise, Marvin Harrison Jr. We talk about him all the time. He's got great stock, the amazing route running ability, so lengthy. He's got the speed, 22.2 miles per hour, remember? Clocked as the fastest guy in college football. Very impressive. Emeka Egbuka, man, that's a 1-2 punch that you just can't beat right there. Travion Henderson, when he's healthy, guys, I mean, one of the best backs in America. He's proven that. Has the breakaway speed, can break tackles. Put one defensive guy on there, Tommy Eichenberg. I like that. I think he is more the quarterback of the defense. He just commands that respect in the huddle that you can see. I'm sorry, man. And I got to throw Kyle McCord in there because of the Notre Dame clutch play. Jay already alluded to it. Buckeye Nation, I was this close. Let me say, I was this close to putting a kicker or a punter, but I knew I was going to.
Kicker's been good this year.
I knew I was going to take so much flack here.
Jaden Fielding, come
He's
on.
been great.
I believe he's been missed one or he's perfect. He's had a heck of a year.
automatic.
Yeah,
he's perfect.
So he's been amazing, and to crack this list obviously is an honor for many of these Buckeyes. But whether you're a wide receiver, offense, defense, special team, now you know our list here on the Football Fever.
Can I just say it's ironic that we all had Emeka at number 2 and he's not playing today?
That shows you. Well, we've said it before, too, right? Probably the best wide receiver in college football outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. But they play on the same team.
Carnell Tate, you better step up
I was going to say, Carnell Tate time.
We're going to see. Here we go. Plenty more to come and their issues. Kellyanne?
Thanks, guys. Jay, it seems like the big concern at this point in the season for the Buckeyes is the offensive line. We're 5 games in. They've already had the bye week to iron out some of those concerns. What can be done in practices to fix some of those issues up front?
So what we're looking at right now with the offensive line is the weakest unit on the team. And I think anyone would agree after what we've seen. Being held under 2.2 yards per carry against Maryland is not what you want to see. Here's what you can do. You have got to get these guys isolated in one-on-one blocks in the run game where they know their fits, where they can be aggressive, get their hands on people. And, sometimes that zone scheme can get confusing. Sometimes when guys are blocking against the area and not against a man, it can sometimes get confusing. But when you watch this offensive line, they just seem to be not consistent, sometimes in discord. And then you have the offensive, false starts and things like that. That sets your offense back. So for this offense, they've got to come out aggressive. I think a nice scripted drive, starting things off is going to help. Everyone needs to understand their assignment on every play. You've got to be intentional about what you're doing up front. Losing Weipler to the draft really set this offensive front back because who's making the calls? Who's calling out the mic? I don't think Kyle McCord's doing that. I think they're trying to get that figured out. And when that happens, you have really huge gaps in protection when there's blitzes. We saw that last week of guys not knowing where they wanted to be. Communication is going to be essential today, folks. They are going to be going against 2 outside linebackers for Purdue who are first and second in the Big Ten in sacks, who are also first and second in the Big Ten in pressures with 30 and 20 respectively from these 2 guys who I'll mention more about later. But that's not going to be like a pushover situation. Guys got to play in space. And Kellyanne, you know this. If you cannot give Kyle McCord time, you're going to have some problems, and you don't want that.
You don't want that. You want to make sure that we're protecting Kyle McCord. Now, Jay, do you think the coaching staff should consider making changes to the 5 starters to see if that will help at all? Ryan Day was asked about this earlier this week, if there was a gap between the starting 5 and the backups, and he said that he feels that there is.
Okay, and get that confidence they need heading into the big one next week. But today is going to be critical.
Penn State on the horizon, as you mentioned, and I think they'll be able to iron out, and like you said, build some of that confidence to get that communication going. So hopefully we can see that from those guys today to just put this all to bed, right? Welcome back to the Football Fever. The Buckeyes are getting ready for their 3rd Big Ten game of the season. They are taking on a Purdue team averaging just under 26 points a game. And Ohio State's defense only giving up an average of 10 points per game, ranked 3rd in the nation. The 17 giving up to the Terps the most of the season. The defense has been the bright spot, but one unit under scrutiny, the defensive line. But position coach Larry Johnson isn't concerned about the stats, instead what he sees on film. State ranks 8th in the country in total defense and 6th in pass defense on the heels of an improved secondary, holding opponents to 158 passing yards per game and only 3 passing touchdowns. But with only 7 sacks through 5 games, last in the Big Ten, questions remain around Ohio State's pass rush.
Each team plays us different. Why? We have to continue to evaluate that. But balls come out fast, 0.6, 0.7, there's no way you can get there. So all we're going to do is create pressure, push the guy into the quarterback, get our hands up, see what happens. And so I've been very pleased. They're working hard. Our time is going to come as we move forward. But right now, I'm going to continue to do what we're doing.
One of the guys bringing the pressure, JT Tuimoloau, with the defensive end recording his first sack against an athletic quarterback in Talia Tagovailoa.
Nothing compares to getting your first sack or your first TFL, so there's a lot of weight lifted off me after that one.
While many are waiting to see Penn State JT, the lineman continues to be a big-time player and rises to the occasion in big-time situations.
He's always in the moment. And the bigger the moment, the bigger he's ready to go play. You know what I mean? And you don't know when that moment's going to happen, but sometimes he just shows up. You go back to the Notre Dame game. He made 2 great plays back-to-back because he's in that moment. He's understanding exactly where he's at that moment to make plays.
Defensive tackle Tyleik Williams also causing pressure up the middle and wreaking havoc in a breakout season, logging a sack, 4 tackles for loss, and 24 total tackles.
When he gets off that rock, it's like a bullet. It's like, he's moving very fast. He's very agile and quick for his size, and it's scary. Just having him there helps a lot, and I can't wait to continue to grow with him and all my other brothers out there.
Tyleik, of course, with that fumble recovery for the touchdown, too, where he kind of dug it out the pile. He's been fun to watch. Now, defensive end Caden Curry has also been a fun story to watch this season, getting time on both sides of the ball as a fullback. He says he played some at the high school level and is loving the opportunity in college. He hopes he'll be able to do more than just block down the road, saying, I don't make the plays, but if I did, I'd give the ball to me, as I'm sure a lot of the guys would say that as well. But let's send it back out to Clay now, live outside the stadium with more on what's coming up next, including an unforgettable play. Hey, Clay.
No question about it.
So this might be a little bit considering what's going on in the running back room and all these offensive line issues, but I want to see that all ironed out. The weather could be crummy there in West Lafayette. I know no Mayan Williams. It looks like I'm seeing reports that there's going to be no Trey Henderson, but I still am confident in the Buckeyes' ability to finally jumpstart some of that ground game. Chip Trayanum going to be looking to carry the load there. We're probably going to see some Dallin Hayden, even though the plan was to have him do a redshirt year. He can, from my understanding, still play in some games, and he had a monster game last year against Maryland. He's been a really good player, so I think we're going to look at that, and I'm going to say 200 ground yards today.
Let's go.
Even though they're averaging
Okay.
131 yards.
Wow.
It's not great. It's like 95th in the nation, but I'm going to say 200.
200.
Okay.
You heard.
Okay, I like it. I still want to say balanced attack, though.
Sometimes it can be windy, it can be blustery, it can be nasty in West Lafayette, but we said handle your business. They're going to have a chance to do it. I'm saying 250 on the ground, 250 through the air.
Ooh, okay.
Balanced attack. That's what we want to see
Yes.
from the Ohio